So if you are just joining us, and if you perhaps missed what happened today, here are just some of the shocking scenes when people broke into the windows and pushed back the Capitol Police up the staircases and plowed their way in to protest and riot inside the United States Capitol building. It was just an absolutely astonishing sight that we saw today. And we talked to Kylie Kramer before. She was at the early rally this morning and, had her own reasons for being there, wanting to protest the election. But what we saw was something wholly different from any of those motivations. So moments ago, those are the mahogany boxes that contain the sealed certificates of the electoral votes making their way back to the Capitol through the Senate tunnels. And we were told earlier that some of the aides made sure that they protected those boxes and got them out of the way as those walls were breached and the doors were broken to the United States Senate chamber. Congressional correspondent Chad Pergram has been reporting live throughout the day on Capitol Hill. Chad, I know that you have seen a lot in your years on Capitol Hill, but today was something that none of us will ever forget.
This is one that will go down in infamy without question. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi indicated that, quote, today was a shameful assault made on democracy. It was anointed at the highest level of government. She said, however, this cannot deter us from our responsibility to validate the election of Joe Biden. And that's what we're going to have a little bit later today. Senators were off in another part of the Capitol here where they've been sheltering in place for several hours, being escorted back to the Senate chamber here, where they will pick back up at some point. We're told maybe sometime after 8 o'clock tonight in both the House and Senate. They have to make sure that the Capitol is secure. The fact that they were bringing the senators back and Mike Pence, the vice president, was coming back is significant. Keep in mind, this is where they were. They were in the middle of the debate on the Arizona slates of electoral ballots. So what happens in both the House and Senate, they come back individually into session in the House and Senate. And at some point, you have to have a vote on this. Now, they can do this one of three ways. They could have a good old-fashioned roll call vote. They could do this by unanimous consent, or they could actually have a voice vote where everybody yells yay or nay and the loudest side wins. That's the fastest way. But then they have to come back to the joint session in the House chamber. This is where Mike Pence, the vice president, presides under the 12th Amendment to the Constitution. And I'm told that the House and Senate chambers are just littered with debris and trashed and glass is broken and windows. I was asked earlier, people were saying, well, why did the Capitol police officers and some of the chamber security people have firearms, have their arms drawn? Well, they were concerned about what was going on outside the chamber. They were trying to keep people outside. But you mentioned what is in those mahogany boxes. Those are the actual pieces of parchment, the actual electoral votes themselves. And if something actually were to happen to them, we are in a constitutional crisis on top of the mayhem that has happened today because you don't actually have the pieces of paper. Now, granted, things are sent to the Archivist of the United States and the Secretary of State, so they do have multiple copies. But that is critical, as you point out, to try to protect those electoral ballots here, which are actually being adjudicated under the 12th Amendment and the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Now, it might take a while for the House and Senate to get back into session tonight. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to read to you from her statement here today. She said, quote, we always knew that it would be our responsibility to take us into the night. It might be a long night ahead, but we're hopeful for a shorter agenda. She said, but our purpose will be accomplished. And Rand Paul, the Republican senator from Kentucky, says, I don't think there's going to be another objection tonight. I think it's over. Martha?
Yeah, we spoke with him earlier on the program, and he reiterated that. Chad, thank you so much. Great coverage today on a day, as we all say, is going to be burned into all of our memories for a long time.